What happened?
What?
We're heads! We're heads! Oh my goodness.
What happened?
I don't know. All I know is that I was putting together our very 80s Halloween special, and then I got to the part where we were talking about 80s sitcoms, and then I don't know, we woke up like this. Okay, wait a minute. I have a question. If we indeed did freeze our heads, and we were thawed out later, where are our bodies?
You didn't tip the guy, did you?
We're heads! We're heads!
Hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody!
I'm Steve.
And I'm Mark.
And this is SmokeySteveAndMarc.
Oh, yes, it is!
Welcome back.
And happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Happy 80s Halloween!
Indeed.
Oh. I don't know, we were trying to think of, something different to come up.
A little spin on the ball, something.
Yeah, for our finale. And so we thought we would go back in time to, in my opinion, the wonderful 80s.
You love some 80s.
You always say
I'm
an
best
80s
time of your
child, for
life,
sure.
you always said.
Yeah, I know, it was a bad. To me, the 80s were, it just seemed lighter and happier, and I don't know, a lot happens in 10 years, and I was 10 years old in 1980, and of course 20 in 1990, so a lot of growing up happened. I've kind of found myself, and there was the music and the fashion, and of course Halloween,
of course.
Did you like our little intro? A little wink and nod to the Golden Girls, one of the greatest 80s sitcoms.
Of course, if not the. We could argue later.
We can argue later. Okay, that
we can agree
good.
that you're wrong. It's okay. If you disagree, it's okay.
Oh, but you know what? Even though the Golden Girls didn't have a Halloween episode, a lot of them did.
Yeah, we're going to give you a little wink and a nudge to the sitcoms that ran through the 80s. A lot of shows came off and on the air during the 80s, too. And Halloween episodes were something that a lot of them had.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to take you through a little quick tour of some of the shows that actually did have a few Halloween episodes.
Very cool.
Here's a brief list of our favorite Halloween sitcom episodes. We start with everybody's favorite alien, Alf. His Halloween episode was called Some Enchanted Evening and aired in 1987. A different side of Mr. Belvedere when he goes wild on Halloween night, toilet papering a house and trick-or-treating with Wesley. This Halloween episode aired in 1986 on ABC. Next we have Benson and the episode known as The Stranger. Airing in 1985, it features a mysterious stranger who lurks around the governor's mansion on Halloween night. Also on ABC, Full House premiered its Halloween show titled Divorce Court in 1984. It was the 8th episode in the show's 3rd season. And we couldn't leave out Knight Rider. Its Halloween episode is rightfully titled Halloween Night, where Bonnie is haunted by strange happenings staged to run her out of her apartment. This episode ran in 1984.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Very cool.
Very nice, yeah.
Good job.
If I'm lulling you to sleep.
You have a really good voiceover voice, I just have to say.
So do you.
Why, thank you.
Well, that's why I'm doing a voiceover.
I've been trying. I've been working on my voiceover voice.
It's hard. That's my phone voice at work, too.
Yeah.
That's my hello. This is Steven.
Right, I know,
You know.
professional voice.
My
Yeah,
pro
right.
voice.
Oh, but you know what? Halloween episodes from sitcoms weren't the only things we were excited about in the 80s. Oh my gosh. Need we even mention the 80s horror movie?
Oh my god.
Totally a fan. You guys know I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I just love it. And of course, we saw, what was it? 1980. Oh, let me get my list here. 1984, we saw Freddy Krueger for the first time. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Creepy.
Oh, yeah.
I got 1980, my personal favorite, The Shining.
Oh, The Shining.
Red Rum. bam.
Still creepy to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in 1987, we saw Poltergeist and The Thing.
And then, of course, Friday the 13th.
Oh, you can't forget Friday the 13th.
That whole franchise
man.
picked up steam throughout the entire 80s.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
that was the classic, 80s slasher film,
Yeah.
Campers beware,
yeah,
it was-
3D, like everything.
everything it went
Yeah.
on. And then in 1981 we saw Halloween 2, and then there was Halloween 3 and even 4. And an interesting thing about Halloween, a lot of people think that Halloween began in the 80s, and it didn't. The original Halloween was in 1978, but it was followed up
Mhm.
with Halloween 2 in 1981, which was everybody was so eagerly awaiting it,
I know.
And I mean, let me tell you, that film franchise, it went on to produce 11 more movies after that.
Including one that should be out shortly, if not out now.
Just this year alone.
And this
Halloween...
will be the real last one.
No. This one this year is called Halloween Kills.
Mm-hmm.
The original cast reunited, including Miss Jamie Lee Curtis, and they actually filmed 3 Halloween movies originally to be released year after year. It was supposed to be in 2019, 2020, and 2021, but because of the pandemic, they skipped a year. So we had the remake of Halloween in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Halloween Kills that came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Came out about 2 weeks ago, I think it came out. I don't know the exact date. I'll have to get that for you. And then next year, Halloween Ends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And that's supposed to be the official ending of the film franchise. Again, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and all of the original cast. Well, not all of them. Some of them aren't with us anymore. But
she looks so good, too.
She
Couldn't you
does.
just slap her?
I really
She
think
looks
what
amazing.
a great actress. I mean, well, she has good genes.
Good genes. She's been sober 20 years,
Oh,
too.
yeah,
That
her
always
parents. Come on, Janet Leigh Curtis, Tony Curtis. I
yeah,
mean,
good genes outdoes most other.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, definitely. And guys, who remember? You have to, if you were even alive during the 80s, you remember going to your local ma and pa video rental store.
That was my favorite.
Oh,
Before
me
there was
too.
Blockbuster that ruined it for all of them, and then Redbox came and ruined it for all of Blockbuster. It
Yes.
was Friday night. We'd get a movie for everybody, one scary one for Dad,
Mhm.
and then one video game,
Uh-huh.
and that's it. And you play it all weekend, and then Dad watched a spooky movie on Friday or Saturday night.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God,
And
I remember.
you go in with your parents, and your parents would be mulling around, and you'd head to the back of the video store, kind of close to the naughty movies, right? To see, like, the selection of 80s horror movies. And let me tell you, those VHS covers for the 80s horror movies.
Scarred.
Yeah, my childhood is scarred from them. Just take a look.
And
Gen Zers will never understand the horror and the trauma and the excitement of browsing through horror movies in their local ma and pa video rental store. Oh, no, they wouldn't. And let me tell you, those VHS covers for those horror movies, truly disturbing. I mean, my childhood is scarred by them. So get ready to be triggered. Get ready to be disgusted. Here is my list of the top VHS horror movie covers that'll truly terrify you. 1988's Waxwork features one of the best cover art in the history of pulp horror. Wow, Chopping Mall, on the other hand, sucks. There, I said it. It's a prime example of a VHS box that is about 1,000 times better than the movie itself. They ooze, they slime, they kill. Sounds like the majority of my exes. Slugs would be completely lost to the sands of time if it wasn't for this nasty box art. Let me tell you. Now, Blood Beach is one silly as hell post-Jaws horror moment from 1981. The original tagline, just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water, you can't get to it. Brilliant, huh? And what the hell is going on with this cover art? The Company of Wolves dropped onto shelves way back in 1984, and it definitely was not as scary as its out-of-control cover art was. But it did star the Angela Lansbury. So, there's that. Why are toy monkeys so scary? Probably because of the cover art for Monkey Shines. Oh yeah, creeped me out. And lastly, what do you think? Did I miss any? How about this? Do you have any 80s horror movies that truly creep you out? Well, let us know down in the comments below. We would love to hear about it. And of course, we need a little snick snack to go along with those horror movies, don't you think?
Hello, hello. So keeping in our 80s theme, we're going to take it back a little bit to have something of an 80s snack. Now, this is something I've never heard of. I was born in the 80s. I was 8 when they were over. But what we're going to be having is hot buttered Cheerios. Now, some of y'all have probably heard of this. Maybe another name, maybe another country. But it's a really easy 3-ingredient thing. So what we have is butter. Turn that up a little for you. 4 tablespoons of butter. And that goes to 4 cups of Cheerios. You don't need to get Cheerios. We obviously didn't. Go to Dollar Tree. Go to something like that. 4 cups, and it goes into the butter. And at this point, we stir 2 to 3 minutes just to get everything coated, just to get everything toasty. So we'll give it 2 or 3. Okay, while these are doing their final minute or so of toasting, I want to show you, what if you want to take it up a notch? What if you want to do something a little different? Make it as such, with just the butter and just that, maybe a pinch of salt, and then you can add extras. Garlic powder, think popcorn. Parmesan, not bad. You want to go the sweet route? Take a 1/4 cup of sugar, could be Splenda, whatever you prefer, and a little cinnamon. And it'll kick back a little bit of a donut kind of thing for you. So let's see where we are at. I don't see any butter in the bottom. I smell toasty Cheerios. Everyone's coated. And now the last ingredient is salt to taste. Use a little, use a lot. I'm just going to use not much. If I'm using a 1/4 teaspoon, maybe. And that's all she wrote. Get them toasted, get them salted. And I'm ready to go.
You know, when I'm watching like 80s horror films, a couple things really stand out to me, right? And that would be the hair.
The hair.
Definitely the hair. And also the fashion.
Oh my god.
Ooh, 80s fashion. Oh, yes, it was so much fun.
It was acid wash jeans, headbands.
Oh, yes, parachute pants and jean jackets, bomber jackets. So much fun. Think big, bold, neon colors, too. And the accessory of the decade.
Jelly bracelet.
Jelly bracelets. You had to wear 1 or 2 or 100 of them at a time.
Yeah.
And who can forget the safety pin? Oh yes, they were everywhere, on your jeans, on your shirts, on your jackets.
Piercing your nose with it. Punk rock.
I didn't do that, but oh yeah, punk rock, and totally rad if I do say so myself.
I would say so myself.
And you know what? That brings us to our project today. So, can we talk a little bit about tie-dye? Hey guys, oh man, we have a great project today, and yes, we're talking all about tie-dyeing. Now, tie-dye shirts become like popular generation after generation after generation, and every single decade we see another reemergence of its popularity, right? And the 80s decade certainly was no exception. But it did have a little twist to it. I'm talking reverse tie-dyeing, and that's what we're gonna do today, okay? So I am gonna put a little spooky twist on it too, because we're talking about 80s and we're talking about Halloween today. So of course, we have to do that in our project, right? All right, so for the project, you will need a shirt, of course, and since we're doing 80s, we're thinking like bright, bold colors, okay? So I got this kind of, I don't know, pinkish shirt. I don't even know what color it is. Y'all know I'm colorblind. All I know is that it's pretty bright, all right? And reverse tie-dyeing is a little different than regular tie-dyeing, in the sense that when you tie-dye, you add color to a shirt, right? Reverse tie-dyeing is removing color from a shirt, and we get that done by using bleach, all right? So that's our next little material we need is bleach and a spray bottle. So you're gonna make yourself a solution of half bleach, half water in a spray bottle like this, all right? Set that aside and get your shirt. And you're going to want to put something up in your shirt to kind of protect it because, as you probably can guess, we're going to be spraying bleach on our shirt. Now, we don't want that to bleed through to the other side. Unless you do, you may want to, All right, so I just use a regular little shopping bag and I put it in between like that, all right? Dun, dun. Yes, you can see that. Now we're going to flatten it all out, and here we go. Now, at this point, you can take your spray bottle and you can adjust its little nozzle. You can have like a stream going out, or you could have just like, the spray go out, however you want to do it. One of the cool designs, I think, is when you just use the stream and just like kind of, spray it like this, like it's paint being splattered on it. I think that looks awesome. Or you can use a little template. Now, I got this at the Dollar Tree, and I thought this would be so fitting for 80s Halloween, right? And I'm gonna lay this right down in the center of my shirt, like so, okay? Now, another idea. Oh, yes, and this is what in the 80s, we were doing this all the time. Duct tape. Yes, you can just take strips of duct tape in any size, put it all over your shirt, write words, make little geometric shapes, however you want to do. You just tape it on your shirt, and then when you're done, you just peel it off, right? All right, but I'm using a template today, and I have that set right in the center of my shirt, and it's as simple as this, y'all. Just spray it. Oh, I want to make sure he's straight. He is. Okay. And we're just going to spray all around it so that our shirt gets pretty saturated with our solution, okay? And with our design here, you'll see that we'll have a cool looking skull whenever we're done with it, okay? All right. So at this point, we wait. And it's kind of up to you how long you want to wait. The longer you leave it on, the more color will be removed from your garment, okay? But just a note of caution, don't leave it on too long because bleach has a tendency to weaken your fabric, sometimes even eating all the way through it. So I personally recommend anywhere from 10 minutes to 20 minutes. And you can just keep looking at it and you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see the color as it lifts that color out of there. And you just stop whenever you find the right color that you want, okay? And then you remove your template if you used a template, or you remove your tape if you use tape, whatever. And then we're just going to take it into the bathroom and rinse it out with cold water until you get all that bleach out of there. And then you can just dry it as normal or wash it as normal. And that's it. Oh, I can't wait to show you this whenever it's done. And that's your 80s Halloween project for today. Please give it a try. And if you do, send me your pictures, okay? Okay. Oh, so much fun so far. Oh my gosh. And like, speaking of fashion, right? Halloween costumes in the 80s were like the bomb, for real. I mean, for real. You know what? It was such a different time back then. Back then, I mean, you thought about your Halloween costume all year long. And like just for the big night, when Halloween night came around, you were, I don't know, there was just a feeling that went along with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you mapped out your trick-or-treating. Oh, definitely, because you wanted to get the most candy you could get. And if that meant staying out for 3 hours in your costume, and in the 80s, you know what was popular?
What?
Those heavy plastic masks that you could hardly breathe in, but it
Oh,
didn't
God.
matter. It didn't matter. You kept it on,
Yeah.
depleting your brain of oxygen however long you needed to.
To get a Zagnut.
Oh, definitely. And to collect candy, it was either the traditional jack-o'-lantern bucket
The pillowcase?
or the pillowcase.
Or the pillowcase.
Oh, yes.
I've heard many stories because I was only made in the 80s.
Right.
I didn't thrive in the 80s. I was
Right.
only 8.
Oh,
So-
it was definitely a
It
different
sounds like a
time
lot of fun.
and a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And you had your school costume party every year, you know?
Yeah, that I
And
remember.
back then, oh my gosh, you had homemade treats. All the moms would send in like cupcakes and different Halloween treats. Much different than it is today. There's a
Yeah.
lot more safety concerns now.
Everyone's
and-
allergic to nuts.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
so-
And so, yeah, it was a very different time, and it was a great time for costumes and a great time for pop culture, too.
Yeah.
And pop stars like Boy George made it so easy to come up with, like, an easily identifiable costume,
Yeah.
too, right? And the number one costume in the mid-'80s, Madonna.
Madonna.
Oh, yeah, I probably saw 1,000 Madonnas in the 80s, let me tell you.
I would think so.
All the girls and some of the guys were dressing up like Madonna in the 80s. It was so much fun. And music was a huge part of the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, man. If you talk about anything that defines a decade,
Music.
definitely the music. It just seemed so much lighter and so much fun. Highly synthesized, you know?
Mhm.
And speaking of Halloween, 80s, and music. Now this was not released in time for Halloween, but Michael Jackson's Thriller was an epic music video, over 13 minutes long, and it really solidified his status as the king of pop.
Yeah.
Good evening, and welcome to the SSAM News Desk. This just in. The house that 80s horror film fans know as 1428 Elm Street from the iconic horror movie A Nightmare on Elm Street is officially on the market. The asking price, a whopping $4.25 million. Now, given its iconic status in the 80s horror genre, I'm sure there's a few deep-pocketed film fans out there that might just be interested in it. What do you think? And now, in literary news, the 1919 Ruth Edna Kelly book, The Book of Halloween, has rocketed in sales this year once again. The only time sales were higher than this year were in the mid-'80s. This book is a must-read for anybody who wants to get the full Halloween story. And those were your very 80s Halloween news stories for today. Back to you. We're back!
Yeah.
How'd you like that ad, huh, for Kool-Aid?
Such throwbacks.
Oh,
Such
isn't
throwbacks,
it?
Yeah.
Oh man, the commercials and even the print ads in the 80s were so totally rad.
I know. Even if it was just for Tab.
Oh, I know, right?
The ads were still
Exactly.
good.
You know, like this one from Domino's Pizza. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. When I see things like that, I remember how long they've been around.
I know. 1990 still feels like it was last decade. To
Right?
me. I forget that we're into like.
Making this
Pretty
video,
far
it
ahead.
really, it did. It felt that way about the 80s for me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this was a long time
This
ago.
was
this
40
is considered
years ago.
retro now. Like,
Yeah, this
you
is
know,
40
oh my
years ago.
gosh.
And then I think when I was in high school, there was kids who were into like the hippy dippy clothes, and I'm like, that's not such a reach because that was 30 years before that.
Right.
This is 40 years after the
This
80s.
is crazy, right?
Well, that just makes it classic.
Yep. And then who can forget the safety video, the Halloween safety video. This was everywhere on TV in all the schools, along with those reflective pumpkins you had to wear.
Now, see, this is new to me, or I was too young. I don't recall wearing.
Probably were too
reflective
young.
pumpkins.
I don't. Oh man, everybody, every person who went out trick or treating had a reflective pumpkin on them in the 80s. I don't know who originated it, or whatever, but it was everywhere. Everyone had to have it. And it was safety. You know?
You don't get hit by a car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the best of all of it, do y'all remember the McDonald's Happy Meal pails?
I had them. I definitely had them.
I did too. I had all of them.
I did too.
What was your favorite?
Oh my god.
My favorite was the witch.
The witch.
Loved the. Oh, I like the ghost too.
I like the ghost. The ghost was my favorite.
I liked them all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was like, and how do you say, like, you, even though you had one, you still went back and got more.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't just have one. I don't know.
know.
It was a ingenious marketing campaign from McDonald's that
Yeah.
went on all through the 80s, and every person I knew had one.
Yeah, I did.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was so nice, reminiscing about the 80s and Halloween, two of my personal favorite
Yeah, you
subjects.
smash them together, and then you have
Me!
cloud nine. I suppose.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Yeah, 80s memories and
Yeah.
crafting.
Well, oh my gosh, I think that we've talked your ear off enough. We really hope you had a good time, you know, going back to the 80s and Halloween time and everything. It was a lot of fun.
was.
Did you like it?
I did, and you never know we'll be back. We just scratched the surface of the 80s. Just barely.
Oh, yeah.
So
There
it'll...
was so much more to talk about, but
And we'll be back.
I think this might
But
be...
if
Yeah,
for
that we may have another 80s video
Maybe
coming
a
up
couple,
soon.
two,
We'll
three.
see.
We'll
We'll see
see.
what y'all say.
Yeah, we'll see what you think. So,
But anyway, we really hope you enjoyed Spooky Steve and Mark this year. We put a lot of thought into it, and we
Yeah.
hope you liked it.
Yeah,
we
we-
did a lot this year. My gosh, we made. Well, let's see. We made decorations for outside. We made decorations for inside. We were in the kitchen cooking.
yeah.
We went on trips.
Yeah, we went for a drive. We went for a couple trips.
We did.
We got lost.
We did.
Well, we went missing.
We went missing, and you guys found us.
And we were found.
That was
yes.
awesome.
That
Thank
was
you for
fun.
that, by the way.
Yeah, we documented a beach trip this year.
Yeah, it was
Other
a lot
adventures
of fun.
we took. We had a lot of good times.
And we hope that you did too. We really do.
Mhm.
And so I guess that's a high note.
That's a high
That
note.
is a high note. Thank you all so much for spending your Halloween with us.
Thank you. And thank the whole Halloween season. Thank
Yes.
y'all so much. It's been great.
It has been.
Well, on that note, thank y'all for watching. Please do subscribe.
Yes.
Hit the notification bell so you get alerts when we have new videos and when we go live. You can follow us on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email and contact information is all listed down below as well. Thank you again, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Oh,
Very
yes,
soon.
we will. And I don't know, I guess, just like everyone says, that's a wrap.
That is.